Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the e-commerce lab by Ecomcy, the place where AI related to Amazon FBA product level and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring another special guest. His name is Cameron Scott, and he's the founder and CEO of Merch Jar, which I will say is one of the top solutions out there when it comes to really helping you automate and maximize what you can do with your PPC, which we know is the one of the things that most Amazon sellers are struggling with, especially in 2026. It's getting more expensive, more complex. So many new tools and features that Amazon's rolling on a weekly basis at this point, and if you're not on top of it, can be very overwhelming. And the reason why I want to bring Cameron today is because given that Merch Jar, they specialize on everything that's to do with automation and really leveraging AI. I just want to really hear from a founder behind this tech, what is happening, what are Amazon sellers seeing, implementing these kind of tools, the pros, the cons, and just really understanding, where Amazon PPC is heading when it comes to leveraging tech like this. So, Cameron, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's a lot. This is a big topic, so I don't know if we're going to get to all of it today. But it's hard to not talk about today too, right? Like with AI, you guys are using AI, I'm assuming, and at some level, in your workflows. Yeah, it's a really interesting time, especially just given the landscape. I feel like everyone's at like a different point in their AI journey. Like there's a lot of agencies and just people in general that haven't really gotten into AI yet, or maybe they're just starting with like the chat bots. And now we're getting into more like the more agentic stuff. You got the Claude codes, Cowork now, Codex, all these that are now actually like doing the things. And so we got people at different levels. But I tell you what, these early adopters, they're eating pretty good with what's possible. Where are you at in this like journey with like you guys in your company?
I mean, for us, AI is being leveraged significantly across all pillars, not only PPC, but also, for example, listing optimization, which is copy, images. We also do a lot of pro research, pro validation, ongoing competitor analysis, reporting. So it's pretty much embedded on every single thing that you might have to do as an Amazon brand on a daily basis. I think the goal, of course, is we also have to try to some extent to make sure that this is always supervised by humans in this case, or experts in house, because I think the point that I feel a lot of people are also getting wrong is that they feel it's only click and forget, and they're letting these systems and this software running on their own. And that's where I think actually getting the most of them, because I feel most AI solutions and software solutions out there are meant to make your workload easier and be able to get to the outcome in a more efficient way overall. But I feel it's not still designed to just kind of set and forget, which is what most people are doing. That's why they're getting burned.
It's not a magic bullet, which I think a lot of people wished it was. Like, right? Like it's cool. Like we all want that easy button to just do it. I think what we're starting to see is that it's more of an amplification of someone's talents and knowledge, efficiency. But the way it's going, it's not going anywhere. I think what I see is in 5 years, there's going to be agencies utilizing AI and just Amazon brands in general. And then there's going to be ones that aren't in business. Like it's going to be one or the other with how much more efficient these companies can be. And it's not that it's replacing the people on the staff. It's just allowing them to be so much more efficient, which then you can be cost efficient with your clients and so forth. So there's a lot to that. And it's,
I know. I think for us it's the same. We're seeing that it's not necessarily even internally. We're not even reducing our teams on anything. It's actually the opposite, in the sense that now with the team that we have, we're able to output 5-10x what we used to output.
Actually, so you bring on more clients, and that's what we're seeing too. I mean, traditionally with agencies, it's been, you need to grow, you need to bring on more clients, right? And to bring on more clients, you need to bring on more headcount. So it's like your labor is always scaling, right, with your revenue. And now that's just a different equation entirely, because the same people that you have can just do a lot more.
Exactly.
So it's incredible. I'd say I'm like on the newish side of like getting into the agentic stuff. Like I'm not a technical person. My co-founder is, which is fortunate because I get to like learn from some, these real nerdy guys that do all the crazy stuff. So I'm like newer on the Claude code and so forth side. And it's just been mind blowing, like what you can build. And so for like Mershire, like the short of it is like we make your data accessible, your Amazon advertising data accessible to these AI platforms. And it's not to replace people, kind of like what you said, is to amplify what's possible, like in the hands of an expert Amazon ad strategist. It's mind blowing what you can do. So that's kind of short of like, we're making this data accessible because we see the future. Like AI is, it's going to be completely different in just a few years. After 5 years, who absolutely knows? Like UIs are changing. It's already changed my workflows entirely just since starting using it. Like these tools are becoming more of like the interfaces that you're using. Like I'm spending more time in Claude. Cowork is my choice. It's a little bit easier than the terminal type stuff for me. It's a great entry point. And I think if you're not, any of your audience that hasn't dipped their toes in yet, because it is like intimidating, right? Like as a non-tech person, absolutely, you should be at least like dipping your toes in this, because it's survival over the course of time. Like you're going to have to keep up, and it's only going to move faster. It's crazy how fast it's already moved. Another point you kind of touched on is the kind of the safety factor of AI. I think this is something we do see. So like agencies or brands trying to implement AI, and they are kind of just letting it do its thing, and they don't have these guardrails around it. Like that's really important, especially as an agency. Like you're making decisions for clients. I mean, can you tell a client that, the AI did it? Like, is that?
Yeah. I mean, it's no idea. Like, for us, like we always, when we do anything with AI, we always say our clients, it's like, of course, AI is a big kind of source of insights and data for everything that we do, but we always have the human factor having the final say if this is right or not. Because as I say, like I think where people is getting AI wrong, and that's why they're having the desired outcomes, is they're letting it autopilot. So I think for you to avoid this, at least at this stage of where AI is, you need to have that expertise or that consultant that really understand what the outcome should be high level, and then cross-check it with internal expertise, so what they have seen in the space working, and just using a real judgment that at this point AI cannot really bring to the table. It's more analytical,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a few points there. I mean, it's one thing I see is that amplification. Like it not only like it does, someone that's brand new to PPC or anything, like it can help kind of elevate their skill set, right? But it does the same to like an expert too, to where I can do some kind of statistical analysis, and it's been 20 years since I took a stats class. I don't remember how to do that, but it can help me walk through those things. And that's kind of the approach we've taken too we've kind of seen the same just across the industry, where it's kind of, you got these tools that are these like if this then that type tools that everybody's used, like real basic. That's like last decades.
And they still call it AI. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, that is. I mean, AI it's really just algorithms all the way down if you really think about it. But the other side of it is like what we're seeing is like other tools are just like bolting AI on. And we're seeing that with like, oh, AI is going to manage your bids. And it's always like some kind of black box. You don't really have control. And against that magic button, great when it works, but what happens when it's not? And as an agency, it's not defensible. You can't tell your clients like, it's doing it. It's like, trust me, it'll be fine. It's just learning, give it a few months or whatever else. You can't do that. Like they're coming to you for the expertise. And like, if you want to boil it down, companies hire agencies for your expertise. Like your business is scaling that expertise across multiple clients. So you got to provide that service. And I don't see AI competing with that necessarily. It's just going to be, agencies are going to make more of it. So, having this in a skilled hands is always going to be much more efficient and skilled than someone that's not. And we've taken that approach with that. So like the data side's one of it. I mean, if you're working with Amazon APIs, they're a mess, first of all. You got so many different reports. You got to join all the data, and clean it and do all this stuff. You got to structure it before it's even really like usable. And it's a lot of data. I mean, we process billions of rows a day of data. So that's like one piece. And that's one part that was, it's a real engineering challenge just to get the Amazon data like in a usable format. So that was like one piece of it. And then our other side to like make this usable, what we're seeing with AI is a lot different than what I expected. And I think for a lot of people a year ago, where it felt like AI was going to be almost like a commodity. Like everyone's going to have access to the best models, like the cost is going to keep going down. And we're at this like inflection point. It's like, we're at the switch part of the bait and switch where like everybody's using it. It's great. And now we're seeing like costs go up, usage limits change, all these things. So it's like, we're seeing it's like, no, AI is like actually going to be like kind of expensive.
Yeah, I always say that to my people. Like it's like people think that, oh yes, and I see that. By the way, I also think that's a huge mistake for agencies and also brand owners. They're going the whole stream of firing all their teams, rely everything on cloud and everything. It's like, do you know that most likely in the coming year, and we're already seeing, as you mentioned, tokens are going up, limits are getting increased. In some instances, I'm seeing people spending more on tokens on cloud, to the point that it's not even financially feasible on certain case scenarios, and we are still early. Imagine when they actually deploy the real prices that they have in mind. Because
yeah, like we're not even like all these companies are blowing money, like they haven't got to the point where they can recoup it. Like this is like, you know, the first hit's free is where we're at right now.
To get all your data and make you so it's like a drug to some extent. They want to make
so dependent. Yeah. So it's crazy to think like a year ago. It's like, oh yeah, there's gonna be these massive context windows. You just dump all your data and it's gonna do it all. And it's gonna be super cheap. Nah, like it's not gonna be the case. So it's like, and it's funny because like we've built these tools like specifically around AI, where most of them bolted it on to just like their existing structure. Like we've spent the last 18 months rebuilding from scratch for this new data landscape. So we're really like building a platform to work, you know, that works well with AI is essentially what it comes down to. And not every platform does that. So start with like the database, we bring in all your data, but it's also a specialized database where it's not only like able to be read really quickly, but we can also write to it really quickly, which is really hard in databases if you're not like the technical nerds. But the write portion is the action side of it. So like a lot of tools can like read the data and build dashboards quickly, but they're not actually performing actions on it. And that's where ours is a little bit different.
But feasible if they try to do with all their clients all at once. They try to limit how many changes they can do and all of that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then the data side of it, you can't dump that on your AI agent. Like, you know, all this data, for one, it's going to be expensive and it's just going to cause confusion. It's going to hallucinate. You're not going to get good data. And the other side that I think a lot of people don't think about, like when you're just like letting the AI decide something, it's not deterministic. So it's going to be, you could have the same inputs, the exact same data, and a different day, it's a different response. And it's another thing, like when you need to have control over these situations, like that's a hard pill to swallow. It's like, I don't know what it's going to do technically, like, or if you think it's down, then the model changes. And we see that now, like we're seeing it with Claude, like the same opus today is not the same as it was 2 weeks ago. We're getting different response from the same input. So that's another challenge. So what we ended up building in between your AI and this data warehouse that we have of all your data structured, that's easily accessible or like ready to be used. We have this layer in between, this query logic layer. So it actually allows the AI to access your data, but get only the information it needs. So it's able to create its own queries and get just the slice of data, the segment of data that it needs. So it's, context efficient, and it's only going to be, have this to work with, not billions of rows. And then it's to your point about the safety. We do the action, so changing bids and so forth. It's the AI can do these things. It can write this logic and create these automations, but it can only do the things that our logic layer allows it to do. It doesn't have direct access to your Amazon. Like, I think that's really important. You need to have this middle layer that you can have guardrails on. You can see exactly what it's going to do. And that's where I think the real differentiator from anyone else I've seen with doing the black boxes, ours is all open.
Taylor.
You can see exactly what it's doing. And it's deterministic. So like this logic layer that sits in between for it to query, it's going to run the same every time. So your bids are going to change with the exact same logic every time. So AI is not managing your ads. It's helping you create the logic
the behavior,
manage your ads and help you like create those automations and do things that like would really be hard for a human to do, because it's really good at like the programming stuff. We've seen that with AI. It's like, turns out it's really good at programming. So we let it speak to your data in a language it understands, and you can just talk to it in a natural language and do things that are absolutely incredible, far beyond what these, if a cost is above 30%, lower bids 5%, like it's whatever you want it to do. And that's the other side of it. Like every agency is different, right? Like your workflows are probably pretty unique to you, the same as every other agency. And that's where I see, man, these tools are really going to shine. Everyone's going to have like their own custom workflows. Like, this is going to be the brain of it all. It connects to, your Amazon data with Mershjar, and then you can connect it to whatever other applications you use in your stack.
Yeah. Cool. So now with all this kind of introduction, of course, the importance and the landscape and everything, I think something I would like to bring to the conversation is maybe some quick use case scenarios where AI can really be impactful on your day-to-day operations. And I'm sure you're seeing this with a lot of your clients. So essentially what I'm trying to ask is, if somebody listening and watching this episode right now, they haven't used any AI at all when it comes to PPC, what do you think is the first thing that you can mention that AI can help them now do better? Maybe it's bids, maybe it's budget, maybe it's finding keywords. Like, what is the initial layer they should start exploring with AI?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend on your experience level for sure with Amazon PPC and kind of where you're at in that AI journey as well. So if you're just getting started with AI in general, I'm probably saying like start with some personal questions in a chat bot and see, kind of like get the hang of it. But like there is a lot to learn. So if you're there, like you gotta try to get caught up. Like it's so important to learn like how AI works, at least at a basic level. So if you don't understand like how we've been talking about like context and things like that, like those are the things you have to really know, like knowing how to prompt. And if you're using like Claude Code and Cowork, setting up your instructions and file systems. I mean, that was a learning process for me. And honestly, it's like, just ask it. Like it'll like walk you through. I learned like all these things mostly from the AIs themselves. And there's all kinds of YouTube channels. I don't have anybody specific. There's a bajillion different content creators for this sort of stuff, but it definitely like get creative. When it comes to PPC specifically, I mean, I have to use it within the context of Mershjar, because I just don't think anyone's making your Amazon data exposed to AI in a way that really works. I mean, you can download like your spreadsheets and stuff and like dump it into your chatbot if you want to do that, ask it some questions, and that can provide useful answers, but it's not going to like automate your account. And this is like usually one of the like first things everyone's trying to do, right? Because you got to manage bids, you got to manage budgets. None of it's hard. Right? Like this isn't hard. We do the same thing like every week for the most part. There's a little bit of nuance there, but it's almost like busy work. It's more like tedious than anything. So like getting those out of the way is probably going to be like the first step. Our AI helps with analyzing the account and the data. And I mean, it's really going to be whatever your biggest pain points are. When it comes to like an agency perspective, usually they're going to be using some kind of tools to already be doing this. So in our case, it more opens up like the analysis side, being able to look at multi-time frame windows, or being able to do statistical analysis that you don't remember from college classes. So if you want to do those sorts of things, but the one point you touched on this, I want to circle back to it with where you saw mistakes of companies letting their employees go maybe a little prematurely. Yeah. When that happens, so like with a lot of agencies, and this kind of happened, like goes back to you scale clients with headcount, a lot of the business knowledge lives inside those operators' heads. Like you're hiring them because they're experts, but they're like performing this, every time themselves. Once they leave the business, that like knowledge is gone. Like it doesn't exist anymore. So one area that the way we've structured Mershjar to work is that it helps codify that expertise into business SOPs, really, that can scale across all your accounts. So when you come up with some like bid algorithm that's proprietary to you, that's now an actual tangible piece of logic that can be duplicated across all of your client accounts, as an example.
Yeah.
So you're like codifying and writing down this, like, your staff's knowledge.
Yeah, actually, on that note, like we're doing something similar in the sense that we're trying to all the learnings that we get from other brands, try to create our own knowledge base of how to certain things, and that's just from the wins and the losses of all the brands that we have on our portfolio, which is significant now. And then essentially the brand, you can call it now, is setting the learnings from the foundation, all the things that we have done in the past for all our clients and all our team members. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think this is an area AI can really help. And there's so many different ways to use it, but I use it similarly in my business, a little bit different, but similar, like with your clients and brands, like you're able to use AI to like distill that information from your calls, like the call transcripts, your messaging with them, like distill that into brand preferences or requirements. Like, hey, this brand always does this, or just like additional context. That's how I want to like really frame it, is like this context about each client that AIs can use this context. So like in my own case, I'm gonna set this up in my project folders with something like Claude Cowork or Code, and it's going to use this. Now AI has this context on each client to personalize recommendations or automations specifically to them, whether it is, this is their target ACoS, this is the kind of stuff they do, this is their brand list of keywords we never want to negate. Just those kind of instances can be hard coded into this context that gets used every single time. So when you don't need to really worry about teaching every single, hey, here's our list of clients, make sure to memorize every single one. Like this is like built into the knowledge base. And that's kind of the other layer that's always going to exist. Like as I see this AI landscape unfolding, like there's the data, there's this Choreo layer that I think is going to be a requirement, just the way AI is going with the context windows and amount of data to process. There needs to be something there that distills that amount of data that it's being given to just what's necessary and useful. And then around the AI is going to be that knowledge layer. For us, it's like we developed our own AI Copilot, and it's really just different files that give it instructions that teach it, or tell it to work from the lens of an ad strategist, right? And it teaches it to be a knowledge, like here's how to work merch jar. But it's customizable, like it's all like open source essentially. You can customize it so you can have these like SOPs, really, maybe that's not the right word, or brand preferences, all those things, just codified. And then as you bring on a new employee or whatever it is, account manager, they already have access to it.
DNA. Yeah, that's the DNA of the brand, which is, I think that's where in the past we were not able to achieve with AI. Before it was all KPI driven, cost conversion, profitability. But what about the actual DNA of maybe we're an aggressive brand when it comes to certain advertising strategies, or maybe there's certain products that we intentionally want to lose money because we know down the line we make money with another product, or the agenda goes beyond Amazon. We have retail, so that's where I think AI essentially now I see it more flexible compared to 1-2 years ago. It's now adding that extra context, that extra kind of system that you just mentioned, and now allows to
and it's so easy, so much easier with these like agentic type of flows, because that's the biggest difference I see. I've been using AI since the ChatGPT 3.5 days, and the biggest difference I see is that like with that, it was like you could do it some amazing things, give it context with files and so forth, but anything from it, you still had to like do something with it personally. Like I still had to like deal with whatever it came up with, like, oh, these, this client preferences, I still got to like get it to where it needs to. And now with these new agents, the Coworks and so forth, where they actually have access to your local file system, can connect to all these different apps like Merchjar, like Notion, like Google Drive, like all these other APIs and MCP connections. It can do the things. That's the biggest difference to me, is like, not only can it like distill this brand information from whatever calls and whatever context there is into this useful information you can use ongoing as a business for this client, but then it's going to put it in the appropriate place that it can then be utilized. I mean, how often does it happen, like, especially a couple years ago, where you're on calls or whatever it is, so much information just falls through the cracks that never gets captured. And it's never been easier to capture some of that. And especially from an agency side, you can really utilize that with AI for, I mean, all sorts of aspects. I mean, PPC especially, but there's also, you know, every aspect of an agency, depending on what sort of services you offer. From a PPC side, everybody runs their ads differently. Every brand's going to have different preferences and campaign structures and so forth. So to be able to just have that, you know, codified in your knowledge layer around the AI. I mean, it's so efficient, saves so much time. It really, like, it protects, like, the knowledge you built up from, like, you know, years of servicing clients, like your expertise, and you're giving that expertise as context to AI. And that's where the real amplification ends up happening. And it still makes it, you know, it's not, you can't replace that with AI because it doesn't have that expertise, like, built in. Like, you still have, like, that secret sauce as an agency, and the AI is just amplifying all that, and a lot, like, giving it to even someone that's, like, maybe, like, a little newer to Amazon ads. It's going to elevate how they're going to be able to work with your accounts just by having access to that data.
Love it. Awesome. So I think, Cameron, to start concluding and bring this to closure, like, is there any maybe advice you would like to point of a mistake that you see people doing a lot when it comes to AI that you think could be good to flag, or maybe an insight of what is coming, like, especially for that we've been talking about what has been happening, the changes, what is coming. So what is your final remarks? Could be one thing, could be three things.
I mean, the best advice is like this is going to be broad, I guess, but, like, keep learning. It's changing so fast. Like, it's honestly hard to predict what it's going to look like. I mean, a year ago, I wouldn't have been able to predict this. I don't know that, you know, we're getting to where they're going to, you know, Terminator and, you know, AGI and stuff. I think we're a few years off maybe from that, but it's just keep learning. You got to keep up with this stuff, because, I mean, the one thing I can say is, like, the ones that are using it now are already seeing huge gains in efficiencies. And in 5 years' times, like, those are the only businesses that are going to exist. Like, it's that stark. And I think that if you haven't started using it yet, like, you have no idea, like, how powerful and like the scale. I mean, it's orders of magnitude more efficient, and the more you know about it, like, the more power you can unleash. And that's really, like, AI in the right hands it's incredible.
Yeah, super powerful. Awesome, Cameron. So tell us how people can find you and also explore, you know, what you guys do at MerchJar more.
Yeah, merchjar.com will get you to, you know, wherever you want to go. We have content on there. We're on YouTube, but merchjar.com, if you want to see how we use AI in your account, you can sign up for a free trial, use it, no credit card required, or you can set up a demo with me if you want to see it personally on your own account.
Awesome. Love it, man. So it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for
this conversation. Fun. Thanks for having me on.
And I'm sure a year from now, you know,
we'll have to do a recap. We'll see, like, maybe we should do, like, a prediction one next, and then we'll, like, do a revis, like, see how bad we messed up.
Yeah, we should. So thank you, man. It was a pleasure. Yeah.
It was a pleasure. I had fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.